you, Madam Clerk. Council O'Malley, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. While I have great memories of Councillor Flynn's dad, Mayor Flynn is mayor. The first mayor I really remember following, and I know many of you agree, was Mayor Tom Menino. He was elected when I was 12 or 13. I just turned 13, and it's really when my sort of burgeoning interest in politics and government began. I began interning for a former colleague of Clerk Feeney's, who was often at odds with Mayor Menino, to put it mildly. And I remember seeing him in the elevator once, and he knew me, and he said, "I know you. You're the wise guy." And I was so excited. No cell phones in those days. I called my dad, and I said, "The mayor knows who I am," and he called me a wise guy. And then 15 years after that, 11 years ago next month, he came in to swear me in as a member of this body. And, it was a story. We didn't expect him to come in. Alex, I don't know if you remember this, but Rosaria Salerno was the clerk. She was out with health issues, so Alex was slated to swear me in, and I love Alex. He's my second favorite Greek. Well, I guess my third favorite Greek now. But I was kind of bummed Mayor Menino couldn't make it because he had some health issues at the time, but I remember vividly being in here. Maureen was a counselor at the time, and Angela Menino came in first, and then in came TMM. And to get to work with him as a counselor for 3 years before he retired was a true honor. I learned so much from that man, and I know so many of you have so many fond memories, and perhaps some not so fond memories as well. But he was just a remarkable leader for this city. He did so much for so long. He really helped transform Boston. You look at sort of how, before the pandemic, how Boston was so strong fiscally, and just that really was because of his leadership, and for so many other reasons. As my time on this body wraps up, I really wanted to acknowledge and recognize his great work. And also the work of Alice Hennessey. All of us know that we are only as good as the people with whom we work, meaning our staffs. And Alice was a central staff director here. She came from this amazing family in West Roxbury. She was so committed. She founded West Roxbury Friends of Rosie's Place. She was transformative on libraries. Her husband, Bill, who actually was in here, we acknowledged him before he passed away, and Alice several years ago, had done so much. Alice was central staff director. Mayor Menino, as council president, becomes acting mayor, taps Alice, and she was the general. She would do these things. She was the sweetest. She had the countenance of it's very nice. And she was very nice, but she was tough in a good way. And Mayor Menino and Alice literally transformed a landfill in my district. A landfill. I remember it as a literal dump growing up into a absolutely remarkable public park, Millennium Park in West Roxbury. It's 100 acres. There's a canoe launch. There's a number of football fields. It's just an amazing, amazing place. Capped a landfill. This was a feat of modern engineering that other cities have now done, but it happened because of Mayor Menino and Alice Hennessey. So I want to acknowledge that work. It's named Millennium Park because it was opened in December of the year 2000. And I think it's high time that we rename it Mayor Thomas M. Menino Park, and that we acknowledge the new playground that I was very lucky to work with Mayor Walsh to get funding for, and is now being refurbished, the Alice Hennessey Playground, to acknowledge those two public servants who have done so much for our city. And just a simple way is something that I'm proud and truly honored to advance before us today. So I don't know how familiar everyone is in the renaming process. It's quite an ordeal, and what we're doing now is just the first step. So I'm going to ask for suspension of the rules and passage of this resolution, naming Millennium Park Thomas Menino Park, Mayor Thomas M. Menino Park, and naming the playground Alice Hennessey Playground. And I will say that we've got great support from Senator Rush, Representative Coppinger, Lord Mayor Richard Gormley, who we know is the most politically important person in West Roxbury to get on board, and just so many great neighborhood folks. And then we will go through the process working with the Parks Commission. There'll be a community meeting, and we will hope to have a hearing. But I really think that this is important to acknowledge the good work of a guy who was such a profoundly important leader in our city. And also, equally important, Alice Hennessey, the incredible longtime serving aide to Mayor Menino, and just an incredible leader in her own right. So I thank you for letting me go a little bit off script and off topic a little bit, but I will ask all of you to please indulge me and suspend the rules and pass this today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council O'Malley. Councilor Baker, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you're going to make me take a vote on the guy that put me out of work. but I sign on to it, and that's just a joke. He actually did me probably the biggest favor of my life because I'm here now because he put me out of work. But agree with your words. We're in the fiscal health we are now because a lot of the decisions that Tom Menino made and Mayor Ray Flynn made also before him continued through the last administration and hopefully into the next administration, that the finance is the most important thing. We can't do programming and take care of things that we have unless we have the finances. So I'd like to sign on, and absolutely good job, Matt. It was transformative over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Baker. Anyone else wishing to speak on this matter? Madam Clerk, if you could add Councilor Baker. Anyone else want to add their name? Councilor Arroyo, Councilor Bach, Councilor Braden, Councilor Edwards, Councilor Savi George, Councilor Flaherty, Councilor Flynn, Councilor Mejia, Councilor Wu, as well as the chair. The sponsor is seeking suspension of the rules and passage of whatever docket this is. 1025. All those in favor of passage say aye. Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it. If you could call the roll, Madam Clerk, thank you.
With pleasure. Docket 1025, Councilor Arroyo. Yes. Councilor Arroyo, yes. Councilor Baker. Aye. Councilor Baker, aye. Councilor Bach. Aye. Councilor Bach, aye. Councilor Braden. Aye. Councilor Braden, aye. Councilor Campbell. Yes. Councilor Campbell, yes. Councilor Edwards. Councilor Edwards, yes. Councilor Sabi George. Yes. Councilor Sabi George, yes. Councilor Flaherty. Yes. Councilor Flaherty, yes. Councilor Flynn. Yes. Councilor Flynn, yes. Councilor Mejia. Councilor Mejia, yes. Councilor O'Malley.
Yes.
Councilor O'Malley, yes. And Councilor Wu. Yes. Councilor Wu, yes. Mr. President, docket number 1025 has been adopted unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, would you now please read docket 1026?
Certainly. Docket 1026, Councilor Edwards offered the following resolution in support of amending the Downtown Municipal Harbor Plan.